I recently received a comment on one of my videos where a young lady was sharing her experience of how she was dating a dude who she perceived as the perfect guy, right? Everything was checking off on the list. He's an honest guy, a guy of integrity. He's got his stuff together. He's a solid dude who actually cares for her. And yet, for some reason, she wasn't feeling the same level of attraction that she has felt in times past. In other words, he wasn't really her quote unquote type. Now, in the past, I would have left a comment basically explaining how, if she's not attracted, then it's probably best to move forward or move on from this relationship or this, courtship, because it was probably going to be unfair for this young man to have somebody who's not even attracted to him. But what interested me and was different about the end of this message was how she explained how this might have been something about her. And again, that really had me thinking to say, well, you know what? First of all, I appreciate the honesty, but secondly, I need to be honest with this individual. And what I've come to realize is this, and it's something that we're going to get into in this video that I'm going to share with you guys, right? Or at least I'm going to share the rest of with you guys, is this entire idea of a quote unquote type is oftentimes rooted in our own personal history. It's rooted in our conditioning, our programming. So if you're raised in a household where there was chaos, dysfunction, etc., your quote unquote type may very well be an archetype or blueprint of your upbringing. So you're used to chaotic. So when you get into a peaceful relationship, it feels weird, obscure, it feels off, it feels unfamiliar. Therefore, it may even feel unsafe in a way. Even though it's the very opposite, what you're used to is comfort, what you're used to is familiarity, is chaos and dysfunction. And so when you find yourself in a situation where you're being treated right, this may come off as boring, as a quote unquote lack of chemistry. And as I oftentimes say, it may very well be a different type of chemistry, because maybe the chemistry that you've been used to is cortisol and adrenaline, the stress hormones. That's chemistry as well. If you're used to that type of chemistry, then getting yourself in a place where somebody is peaceful, somebody is not chaotic, may very well present itself to you or be perceived by your subconscious mind as something that is impassionate, right? There is no spark there. What you're calling a spark is nothing more than the trauma that you've been used to or the dysfunction that you've been used to. So that being said, we're going to get into this video. It's a video I saw not too long ago by a channel called Tonight's Conversation. I'm going to make sure to get the list or the link below, not the list below. So without further ado, let's get into he's a good man, but not her quote unquote type. Should she date him?
A good man, but he's not your type.
When it comes to types, okay, because we talked about this the last time, it's a pattern when it comes to your type, patterns and characteristics, okay? These are things that you have seen or that you have explored before. You probably seen mama, auntie, friends, somebody who had a specific type, or somebody in the neighborhood and you was like, oh, that's a bad boy, that's a dope boy, that's something like that. I like that because of the thrill. In certain spaces in your life, you cannot bring that type with you. So if you see that all other characteristics and behaviors are good, why does the type even matter? You can learn to love this person in other spaces outside of what you see as far as physicalities. If you're talking about a type because maybe your type has a certain type of demeanor, or maybe your type looks a certain type of way, what is going to matter when you start facing conflict? The way they look? When you start going through communication barriers, the way they look? All of that's not going to matter. I can guarantee you the majority of people who have probably married or entered into healthy relationships, they weren't worried about a type. When they got to a certain space, they were worried about what it is that you can actually bring into my life. And as far as your looks and stuff, that just doesn't matter. How much money? Yeah, of course. But if we looking at types who say, oh, he a dreadhead, oh, he's 6 foot something, and everything else. Derek Jackson is 6 foot something, and that was cheating on his wife the whole time.
Oh, no.
And we hate to name drop here.
Oh, was I not supposed to name drop?
No, you good.
I hadn't seen the whole thing, y'all. I just saw enough. I saw maybe 20 seconds of that original clip. That was everything that I needed to see. And sister right there was Gordon Ramsay cooking. It's all right there. What is this really about? What's the conversation of my type or, there's an image and a perception we've been sold. Let's get into this conversation. Let's really break things down to a molecular level. There is an image that you have been sold. You have been marketed and advertised over time. Just like us as men, right? We are presented an image of what an attractive woman looks like. Now, for some of y'all been here long enough to realize that the trend has changed. There was a time when it was slim, slender, damn near stick figure-ish as far as the body type goes. So if you didn't fit into that, you were not seen as attractive. Then there became the slim, thick, hourglass model figure, right? Or slim, thick model, I don't know, IG model, I guess, because they weren't doing it on the runway. Then there became your now Kim Kardashian version, which is, oh, we're taking the BBLs out, we're taking all the, the silicone out, a little bit of it, and we now want to be slim, thick. Right? A little bit of the curves at the bottom, but not too much really at the top. So there's been this manufacturing of an image when it comes to women. It's the very same thing with men. There has been an image that has been implanted in our subconscious minds to say that this is what a good-looking man is. When you talk to some of the elderly women, as I do, that's some of my closest friends or peers or whatever you may call it, people I engage with on a more regular basis than not in coffee shops, etc., are older women. And something that they were conditioned into was, this kind of Marlboro man, the man who's on a horse smoking a cigarette, the blonde hair, bleached blonde hair, blue eye man. That was something that was indoctrinated into them. And so now we have this perception, especially within certain communities, call it what it is, of a bad boy, of a street dude, of a hood dude, of a rapper, of, a dope boy, a jacker, whatever it may be. Individuals who represent toxicity and dysfunction. Just like us as men, we've been given the twerkers, right? The professional twerkers are the one that you're supposed to be engaging with, the ones that are on the hierarchy of this quote unquote dating marketplace. Whatever the hell that is. And we turn ourselves into damn products. It's a marketplace now. Story for another time. So, when we start talking about, well, he's just not my type, most of those are superficial characteristics that we're talking about. Because when it's all said and done, you're dealing with the person's character. Who they are is going to outlast and outweigh what they look like. Even if they stay the finest that you've ever seen for the entirety of their life, right? Aged like a fine wine. If their character is not intact, it's going to be a dysfunctional relationship, and you will find yourself confused as to why the relationship ain't working. But this guy, he has this. I don't understand why I'm not happy. I was told to get a baller, but now I'm not happy. He might be a baller, to the damn stratosphere. He might be him for real. He might have the clout. He might have the bag. He might have all other things working out for him, but he doesn't give a damn about you. He doesn't have enough integrity to be honest or to be loyal in a relationship. And so you find yourself being made a fool of. He's playing in your face every single day. And you're there wondering, well, I don't understand, but he's fine. But the money's, that means diddly squat. It means nothing. Absolute shite when it comes to real life. Just like she said right there, I hadn't seen that aspect or this part of the video where she went in depth as far as what's that going to mean when you're going through things in life. What's that going to mean when you're raising your kids? What's that going to mean when your kid is going through something? What's that going to mean when you're going through something? What's that going to mean when y'all are going through situations and you have to go through? What's that going to mean when you have somebody who's not even with you to begin with, who doesn't even have the moral compass to deal with things in a mature way? Somebody who's going to skip town the moment that things start to get hard. Can you stand the rain? Is this somebody who really cares about you? Because if you come in and you care about the physical, and that's what you're obsessed with, they care about the physical, that's what they're obsessed with. As soon as they find something else that's a little more physically attractive, they're gone. If what they care about is not the commitment of the relationship, because that's what they are and that's what they stand on. This isn't an individual who truly stands on their word, but instead they just found you as, something they can lay up and stay up with. And so once they find another, they're going to latch onto another. It's that simple because they don't have any integrity. They're not a person who holds themselves to a high regard when it comes to how they move through life. They can move any type of way and they feel no type of way. And you're left looking like a fool with your pants on the ground. Hat turned sideways, pants on the ground. Y'all know nothing about that. That's a throwback right there. That's the first original viral meme. Looking like a fool with your pants on the ground. We really have to start investigating and being honest in these conversations with ourselves. Stop ducking and dodging the real conversations. Oh, yeah, I feel like he's just not really the one for me. And, oh, why not? Well, I mean, it's just, it's kind of boring. What does boring mean to you? Boring? Oh, boring is peace. Oh, boring is he obviously doesn't have enough drama and chaos going around him to keep your emotions in that high spike place because that's what you're used to. Okay. If that's the case, please leave peaceful people alone. That's going to be one of my closing statements today. Please leave peaceful people alone. If what you're looking for is quote unquote excitement in the form of drama and chaos, oh, spontaneity. You want to drive by? Is that what you want? You want a nigga in and out of jail? You want infidelity? You want cheating going on? You want other baby mamas to deal with? If that's what you want, then trust me, there's going to be plenty of it out there for you. But when it comes to grown folk business, as I call it, grown folk business, when it comes to mature relationship dynamics, you have to start looking deeper. Folks are talking about, oh, I can't believe I got into this type of relationship. I got played. I got fooled. You didn't get fooled. You were looking at all the wrong indicators. You're looking at what your homegirls are telling you. Ooh, girl, he's so fine. Now you're wooed. You done laid up with this dude. Now you're confusing the brain because you got all kinds of chemicals running through your body. Now your emotions are invested before your heart was invested. Ooh, hear me when I say this and hear me well. Now your emotions are invested before your heart is invested. Your heart holds wisdom to know. Your heart is an intelligent aspect of you. But when you allow your emotions to be hacked before all else, now you're swayed by things that mean nothing. You're swayed by an illusion of something. You have so much propaganda running through your psyche that you believe that this dude is a solid dude. I remember seeing there's a new rapper in town, right? There's always a new rapper who's like the craze amongst the ladies and stuff like that. And it ain't nothing new. Like when I was back in the day when I was a dope boy, statute of limitation, by the way, it's been more than 10 years, so y'all can't do nothing to me. It's too long ago. Niggas have already grown up since then. But there's always going to be a rapper dude, a dope boy dude, or whatever it is who the women are in love with. And there's a dude named Honcho. He's probably going to be around for maybe the next couple years and then, fade away into the distance. Not that I wish that on him. It's just, again, it's the same story because it's the same message, the same everything. And he's a street dude and that's his entire persona is he's a gangster. He's whatever. And from what I've heard, he's really that. And there's just this infatuation about this dude, right? Like 6'6", he's you know what I mean? He's getting to the bag, but he's a hustler. He's dangerous. He's got this and that. And for me, I'm like, this is so curious, right? More power to you, more power to your hustle. I hope, your kids get fed. I hope your people are taken care of. But when I look at this, I'm like, okay, do y'all not see what this is going to be? Lil Durk just got put into a cell and they're trying to put him under the jail. The consequences of a life that he chose to live and that he displayed and represented. And there was plenty of women chasing after him. Plenty. He was the epitome of what they wanted in a partner. Do you think that's natural and normal? To be idolizing gangsters and thugs and dudes who are going to end up in one or two places? I'm going to end up under a cell or under the ground in a box? Is that normal? Like maybe I'm old school. Maybe I'm too strict or something like that. Maybe I'm too prude because I don't get that. I don't understand that. When did the strippers? Can I even say that on you? Can I even say that? If I can't say that on you, that's crazy because I've seen some wild imagery on YouTube, but yet you can't say the words. That's crazy. That's actually ridiculous. There are strippers out here who are being idolized, who are being put on a pedestal as the epitome of what a man should be wanting. Really? Is this I'm sorry, this ain't normal. I'm going to say it straight up. This is not normal. There's nothing normal about this. But yet we've accepted it as normal. We've normalized it. And those of us who know it's absolute madness, it's crazy, we're not willing to speak the truth. And now is the era of truth. Now is the age of truth We got to start saying things as they are. We got to start talking to our sisters, our brothers, to our daughters, our mothers. We got to start being honest and saying, what are we doing here? What kind of madness is this that we're living in? Call it what it is. Don't sugarcoat it for nobody. Call it exactly what it is. This is madness. You say you want a marriage, a true relationship, a healthy, functional relationship, but you're chasing after thugs, gangsters, psychopaths, and sociopaths. That's insanity. And then you want to cry victim after the situation doesn't work out. Now, like Homegirl said, I hate to just call out names, but you got the Angela Simmons, who lost a husband, then lost, I believe, a child or something of that nature. No, she lost a husband, father to her children, to gun violence. Then she ends up with another gangster who not too long ago lost his brother to the very same lifestyle. And this is who she attaches herself to, a young lady whose father is a reverend. He had a very successful rap career, not a gangster rap career. He was making, music to make music, one of the OGs of hip hop music. And, becomes a pastor, a solid dude, raises his family in the suburbs. And this is the life that she gravitated towards. And, if the same fate ends up of this man right here, the quote unquote love of her life, how can we continue to pretend like, oh, wow, this is a shocker. I can't believe it. R.I.P. Of course that's going to be the outcome. Of course. It's always the outcome. So we got to start being honest about these things, man. We got to start being honest. And I got to start being honest. I got to start being straight up. In more cases than not. And again, like in the situation, like the comment I shared in the beginning, I would tell that individual, if they truly are way too given over to the toxic way of having a relationship, I say, go heal. Don't even get into a relationship with this dude, because you're gonna mess him up. Like, you're going to be traumatizing for him, because you're going to be distant, you're going to be avoiding, you're going to be all these things when he's a solid dude doing what he's supposed to be doing. So sometimes the blessing is when you leave him, or, when you leave her. Like, that's going to be the blessing, right? To leave them alone. Leave God's folks alone, for real. Leave them alone. And go handle your business and take care of yourself. You got to get all that toxicity out you. That's your business. But if you are in a place where you're genuinely looking to get into that healthy relationship, but you just don't know any better, then again, get on your healing path. But you got to understand, like this young lady said, there was an old saying, like the old folks used to say, like who likes you. Like, where did that go? Like who likes you. Invest into who's investing into you, because in the long term, that's all that's going to matter. And that's why the old school couples, they're different. We might want to say what we want to say about, some of the things that might have been going on behind closed doors, but they stayed together. They were able to raise up and rear up families, etc. And the reason they were able to do so is because they weren't going through IG looking at 10,000 options a day. Or perceived options. They weren't always looking at grasses green on the other side. Ooh, what did I miss out on? What could I have had? Nah, they were focused on business right here. They were focused on what's right in front of them. We got to handle what's going on in this household, and that was it. They weren't these attention addicts in the same way we become attention addicts, where we just put everything out into the world. Nothing is sacred anymore. We put it all out there, and then we wonder why we continue to attract maggots. Come on. If you present yourself as trash, you are going to attract flies. If you present yourself as trash, you're going to attract maggots. Simple as that. So if you want yourself in a beautiful relationship, you want the butterflies attracted to you, the dragonflies, if they don't creep you out, right? You want the beauty of life to come to you, you have to be on that same energy. You have to match that energy. And you got to let go of these old belief systems that are holding you, that are keeping you captive in this perpetual toxicity. It's got to go.
I used to be afraid of the dark, a place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2-step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's night. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love myself. I fell in love with the sunshine.